Hey guys, happy Monday. I am so excited to be with you today. We're going to talk all about income producing activities and time management, two things that are important when building a business with anyone, but specifically in your Isogenics business. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Julie Coughlin. I am so honored and humbled always to have the chance to come on and talk to all of you, my team, and so many others that might catch this in the replay. A little bit about my story so that you can see kind of how this topic lends well to what my experience has been with Isogenics. So I joined Isogenics in April of 2012, and I was a happy product user for a full year before I took a look at the Isogenics opportunity. And it was April of 2013 that I really started to look at building a business after I went to a Super Saturday. So that's your clue number one. If you are anywhere near where an associate-run Super Saturday is taking place, hint, hint, you can go to isogenicsevents.com and check out if there's one near you. I caught the vision at a Super Saturday. I went, it was at a Harley-Davidson dealership in Madison, Wisconsin, and there was 50 people there. And in that moment, I decided this is what was going to free my family financially. And I was going to do it by helping and serving so many people in the process. So I got to that event, I caught the vision, and then I found myself coming home to two little babies, one that wasn't even a year and one that was 2.5. And how was I going to do this while working full time? Because the fire had been lit inside of me, and I knew, that this was going to be the answer for us to get out of the financial grind we were in. Can anybody relate to that? Because we were running the hamster wheel, and we had two great jobs, you guys. We had great jobs, benefits, a mortgage, car payments, all the things. We had all of them, and we found ourselves on this wheel. And if you have ever been employed by someone else, you know that they are always the one defining how much you're worth. And at that Super Saturday, I realized that I was worth more and that Isogenics was going to be the vehicle to allow me to do that. So I caught the vision. The fire was burning in me. And maybe you're in that place now. Maybe you went to New Year's kickoff. Maybe you're going to go to an associate-run event, and you're going to walk out of there feeling on fire for Isogenics and how it's going to change your family. And then you're going to go home like I did, and you're going to look around and you're going to be like, the dishes are piling up. The laundry piles are there. The kids are still screaming. They still want me to put them to bed at bedtime. I still have a full-time job. I still have friends and family that I want to love and have be a part of my life. How am I going to do that? And that is why today we're talking about income-producing activities and time management, because I know that I am not alone in being a person that caught the fire of Isogenics with a zillion other things happening in my life, and I needed to find a way to weave this in because I knew that I was worth it. And so I'm looking you in the eyes, I'm looking right at the camera, and I'm saying you are worth it. You are worth it to find a way to change your habits to weave this business into your life, because that is what it's really about. Now, if you go to any Isogenics events, every trainer will consistently tell you, it is one message that never, ever, ever changes at Isogenics. 80% of your time should be spent on income-producing activities. The rest of your time, that other 20%, is on all that other stuff, like me getting caught in the weeds in Canva, developing beautiful things to go on my team. That's 20% of your time. 80% of your time, clear, okay? What are income-producing activities? Because people come to me and say that a lot. What does that mean? And why do I weave that with time management? Because we're actually going to start first with a time management exercise that I want you guys to think about. You need to take a hard look at your calendar, and you need to decide how much time are you going to invest in your Isogenics business every single week. And you need to make a commitment to yourself. And if you have a spouse, you need to communicate that with your spouse, and the both of you need to make that agreement that this is the amount of time you're going to invest in your Isogenics business in furthering your dreams, because you are worth it and the people around you need you, right? So what is that amount of time that you're going to invest? And then how does that look to break that down for you? So Eric Worre and a number of other leaders in network marketing will always tell you that the key to successful time management is planning your week on Sunday nights. So today, it is Monday at either 10 a.m. Pacific time, or if you're in Central Time, noon, or figure out your time if you're in a different time zone. If you have not planned your week, your assignment leaving this call is to take the 15 to 20 minutes after this call and plan your week. That is your assignment. If you have not done that, that is number one, because every expert, and actually even business, not even in network marketing, will tell you, you have to plan your week on Sunday. Otherwise, your time will be what rules you. You will not rule your own time. Does that make sense? You will find yourself, like so many of us, you get to the end of the day, you're flat out exhausted. You want to go to bed. You've just taken your belly buster and you're like, I'll get to it tomorrow, because you didn't plan out exactly what you're going to do. So number one tip in time management, decide how much time you're going to commit to your Isagenix business and commit to it and share that with the people that you love. Number two, plan your week on Sundays. We're going to talk about what needs to be included in that plan when we talk about what the income producing activities are that you need to hit. But you need to carve out time on Sunday to plan your week, and it needs to be daily so that you're holding yourself to the standards of building daily habits. Okay? This is a business all about building habits, right? Okay. So those are my two biggest time management things. Eric Worre also, he's very clear in his training that this business can and should be built in 15-minute time blocks. So if you are on this call and you are just like waiting for that day that you're going to have an hour to sit down and build your Isagenix business at a time, it's not going to happen. Make a commitment after this call that your only goal is to look for 15-minute time blocks. You're only looking for 15 minutes where you can sneak a few messages in, pick up your notebook, do a couple of follow-ups, 15-minute time blocks. Does that like feel a little bit lighter to anyone else? Because I remember my babies were little. I was working full time. The pressure of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get up like 2 hours early and I'm going to have to stay awake like 2 hours later. No, you need to start weaving in 15 minutes of very committed and concentrated time blocks into your schedule. That will be life-changing to you if you have not done that yet. I also want to add that often I see people come into Isagenix and they get this burning fire desire. They want to build their business. They want to leave their job. They want to do this full time. I will tell you, you guys, if you cannot build this business part-time, you will not be able to build this business full-time. And I say that with so much love and gratitude because I want you to fully not allow time to be your excuse. Because if you cannot narrow in on the habits of what it takes to build the business full-time, more time won't help you. More time will give you more distractions. It will allow you to be way out of control and not having the habits to do the right activities in the time that you have. I see this happen to people over and over again. Don't be overly excited about quitting your job too soon and not being so grateful that while you're working part-time, it's all about being so intentional to build the habits so that when you reach that milestone and you are able to leave your job, if that is your goal, your habits are so strong and they are so fierce that you're like a freaking rocket ship that just keeps rolling because you know exactly what to do and you are in such a routine and a habit of being so efficient with your time that even when you're doing this full-time, you can work it for 4 hours and that is full-time for you, okay? So just know that, own that, and focus so hard on getting the right habits. If anybody has questions while I'm talking, feel free to pop in the chat. I will try to kind of monitor them as I go. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rolling. Okay, so that's time management. So if you get nothing else from this call, I want you to, one, identify how much time you're willing to invest in your Isagenix business. And that should be be realistic based on what your goals are too. Okay. So I wanted to just say too, I saw an article that David T.S. Wood had written for the Australia, New Zealand version of Isagenix business. And he said, people fit into 3 kind of categories typically. They're a product sharer, they're a sometimes sharer, they're a proud product sharer, they're a passionate part-timer, and then there's the people kind of beyond part-time. You need to kind of identify where you are based on how much time you can invest. Meaning, if you come to me and you say, I am ready to rock, I want to run to executive, I want to hit 2-star by April. Okay, that's great. We will lay out a plan for what that looks like for you, but you can't do that doing an hour a day in your business, right? So let the amount of time you can commit, help you guide yourself to the right goals, okay? I'm not shortchanging anyone, but other than to say, I always see people deflate if they have really high goals, but they only have a small amount of time to invest. So using our time that we have really wisely is important. So time management, number 1. So what are income producing activities, right? Because we started off by saying 80% of your time needs to be spent on income producing activities. So we're going to assume that you are going to invest 10 hours a week in your isogenics business. That's a pretty realistic goal for somebody that's working part-time. What that equates out to, you guys, is 40 15-minute blocks, okay? So 40 15-minute blocks is what that math breaks out to. That's very doable. I mean, I can wake up 15 minutes early. Don't ask me to get up 22 hours earlier, but I can get up 15 minutes earlier. I can take 15 minutes of my lunch hour. Do you hear what I'm saying? I can take 15 minutes in my car on my commute. So you're looking for 40 15-minute blocks, okay? That's going to give you your 10 hours a week. And that is a great number to start with when you're building your isogenics business. So when we look at 80% of your time should be spent on income producing activities, that means, I'm not a mathematician, but that means 8 hours of the 10 hours needs to be spent on what we're calling IPAs, income producing activities, okay? Everybody's with me. 20% of your time is going to be spent on the fun, fluffy team, maybe building some marketing stuff, flyers, that kind of stuff. The little, like, scrolling the rabbit hole, right? You're going to allow yourself 2 hours of that. 8 hours of that, really, really focused time. And this is on the times where I've committed and dedicated yourself that you're working your isogenics business. So some good baseline guides. You need to be adding prospects to your list every single day. So that is number one, my number one income producing activity. You need to be adding prospects to your list every day, that you're adding them to your list with the intent that you will share isogenics with them. Okay? So not just like adding them to your list because you're like, wow, they may be like fun to like get to know. You're adding them to your list with the intent that you can share isogenics with them at some point. Okay, I'm going to go back to these. I'm going to give you a few, and then we're going to go back and kind of deep dive. So number 2 is reaching out to people with the intent to invite them to take a look. Okay, so number 1, we're identifying who the people are. Number 2 is we're actually taking the action, right, of reaching out to people. Number 3 is presenting. That means you're going to share isogenics with them. This is the don't be a fool, share a tool part. You're going to present them. That could be a sip and sample. That could be an event. That could be sharing an ideal life webinar. That could be you meeting them for coffee, whatever that looks like, present. 4 is follow-up, because follow-ups are income-producing activities, and that number 4 often gets missed by people. So number 4, fortune is in the follow-up, it's true. So number 4 is on that list. Number 5 is enroll, right? End goal, always. How can we help people? How can we serve them with what we have? And how can then we help them get started, right? But that's enrolling. So number 5 is enrolling. And then number 6, I did put team building on as an income producing activity, because there are income producing team building activities that are really important and crucial in your business, such as teaching other people to do exactly what we're talking about today, right? So maybe it's sharing this video of what are income producing activities. It is doing three-way calls for people. It is going to help a brand new person that enrolled do their first sip and sample. Those are income producing activities, right? Those are kind of the basis that I would start from. So now we're going to go back to the beginning and try to deep dive a little bit into each of these. And if you guys have great ideas or things that you are working well for you, I'd love to see what that is for you and what is working for you in the chat as well, just to offer up what you're seeing. So number 1, adding 2 to 3 new prospects to your list every single day. Now, we have had Natalia come on. She talks about Instagram. If you were at New Year's kickoff, you heard her talk about using social media as a tool to add prospects to your list. We have the beautiful Heidi Fish joining us next Monday on this very call, this very successful call. She has an Instagram lab training that she has built for her team, and she's going to be blessing us with a part of what that training looks like. That is one, social media is one way that you can be adding people to your list. So Facebook groups is another one. Another way that you can use social media to grow your list. You can look for ways to, people you may know on Facebook. So social media is one way. It's not the only way though. Number 2, you need to get out of your house. So what does that look like? Some of the best advice I ever got, I'm a total crazy introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert. I know there's people on this call that can relate to that. And one of the best pieces of advice somebody ever gave me that was, they said, write down a list of 10 things that you love to do. Like, what is it that you love the most? Is it playing with your kids? Is it visiting coffee shops? Is it going to workout classes? Is it photography? Is it floral arranging? I don't know. What is it for you that you love? Make a list of those 10 things and then find ways to do that outside your house. So find ways that, yes, Meredith, I went to Costco and met a woman. She's coming over tomorrow to taste the shakes. People are everywhere. And I always say, if you are out doing something that you love, you enjoy, or just a task like going to the grocery store that you do every day, you can create connection so much faster. So here's a perfect example. I have a member of my team that loves photography, and I said, you got to go and just find a photography class. It'll be fun for you because you'll learn some other skills. And in the process, you're going to meet other people who love photography. Boom, instant connection. We have a reason to connect on social media. We have a reason to further engage. Photographers have the same business struggles, right? They have a cash flow issue. They are only getting paid for what their time is, right? Instant connection. She didn't necessarily need the class, but the class was going to provide her a little bit of community, a little bit of skill building, but it was also going to give her a network of people that she could instantly connect with. So think about 10 things that you love to do, and then how can you do them outside your home to meet people? You can do this every day. Yeah, Meredith joined a new gym, making new friends every day. Bible study, right? It's different for everyone. So make that list of 10 things that you love to do, and then start to think about how you can do them outside your home to meet other people. And like, let it be your driving force, your driving goal. I heard Emily Vavra on a call where she said, like, her habits are so strong, you guys, like, she does not allow herself to do other things until her daily income producing activities are done. If you took this business so seriously that you were like, man, I really want to go to that noon, workout class at Orange Theory, but I'm not going to allow myself to go until I have hit my benchmarks for the day. So until I've added 3 people to my list, I'm like holding myself to that standard that, like, you cannot go into that class, Julie, until you have added those people to your list, because that's the standard I set for myself. Your business will transform because the level of commitment you have to those habits is at such a different level. Okay. So prospects, adding them to your list every day, only letting social media be 1, 2, if you're using Instagram and Facebook, as just like one tool, you guys. It shouldn't be everything. And everything we're learning about the trends in network marketing it's going back to in-person. It's going back to face-to-face. It's one tool in your toolbox. You are your biggest asset. You are your biggest asset. Get out into your community. Add people to your list every single day. Every single day. Okay? 2 to 3 people. That is number 1. Number 2, reaching out to people with the intent to share Isagenix with them. Now, this creates a little bit of like stirring in people, right? So some people are already like, I'm checking out because I'm like not interested in doing that. And I was at New Year's kickoff and those people were saying social media was just driving, people to them and all that stuff. Okay. Like, let's be super clear on this. I'm going to address the New Year's kickoff training on social media was amazing and it was epic. And this discussion of like how people are now coming to them. They started conversations with those people, right? They started conversations because they were intentional about connecting with certain people on their social media, and they engaged in conversation knowing that their intent at some point was to engage in a conversation about Isagenix with them. This is what we're talking about in number 2. There's really 2 ways that people kind of address this. There's an indirect way and there's a direct way. I'm all for, you got to build the relationship first. Like, don't cold message people, like, try my thing, buy my products. It doesn't work, you guys. It just doesn't work. You have to build the relationship first. That's why you have to do this every single day. Because if you wait until the week before you're running for a goal to start messaging people, you haven't had the time to build the relationship and the rapport so that when that next challenge is coming up and you're in an enrollment push, that they're not ready to jump in yet because they haven't even engaged with you yet. So getting into those conversations with people, and then also knowing that you got to have the like kahunas sometimes to reach out and ask them, like, be direct, be bold, and be totally okay with that, because we have something we can offer people. And in our team right now, we've been talking a lot about inviting people to events, because I believe with the trends that we're seeing in network marketing, that so much more is coming back to community building and in person. If you can master the skill of expanding your list and inviting people to events, and those are the two skills that you over the next 60 days completely hone in on, your business will transform. Yes, you need to have a presence on social media, but I would much rather have somebody that their sole focus is on expanding their list and inviting people to events than having a picture perfect profile, right? And that is my personal belief, because I think people are craving community, and that is one of the largest assets we have in Isagenix, right? I mean, I did the weight loss program where we counted points. And here's what I can tell you about that program. There's a reason why they have meetings every single week. And there is a reason why when I stopped going to the meetings, I would fall off track. It works. Accountability works. Community works. People don't want to feel alone in this. And if you can start to engage people in community through the connection and enrollment process, beautiful things will start to open up. So reaching out to people with the intent to invite them in is number 2. And you have to be really mindful that connection needs to happen, but also boldness needs to happen. Confidence needs to happen. Posturing needs to happen. It is okay to say, I have this and I think that it would be amazing for you for XYZ reason. And if they tell you no, like, that's okay. I'm still going to invite you to Galentine's Day at my house. I'm still going to go out to get a cup of coffee with you, because I'm going to love on you and I'm going to keep that relationship open. But you guys, you have to be bold. You have to make the ask. And I'm reading right now, Creating Your Story Brand. It's a book by Don Miller. It's amazing. I see Meredith nodding her head. And in that, like, one of the things he says is a call to action. Like, that is part of it. If you are somebody who loves to paint, the brand and the picture on social media because that fuels you and you enjoy that, amazing. I want you to consider, if you're not getting enrollments, if you have a call to action. Are you asking people to join you? Do they know that your door is open for them? Inviting people in is the step I see people miss over and over again. Why? Because they post on social media, they're adding people to their network, they're doing those first few things, and then they're getting really bashful about talking to people about it, inviting them to take a look. And I think that if you start to plan enough events, you will always have a reason to keep inviting people to come in, inviting them to take a look at the community, inviting them to come to a sip and sample, inviting them to come to some community building activity that you've created, whatever that looks like. Number 3 is presenting. Presenting can look different for everyone. And it honestly typically depends on the person, right? We've heard Meredith in previous calls, and if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel to see the previous calls, has talked a lot about approaching other network marketers because of what we really have to offer. And that, honestly, guys, if you are not seeing the trend happening in Isagenix, that network marketers, top income earners from other network marketing companies are coming into Isagenix, that's a clue. But how you're going to present to another network marketer is going to look different than the mom that you met at a play group, okay? Because they have different needs, they have different desires, and the way you present to them should be different. And that's why I'm not going to give you like a black and white, this is how you present Isagenix, because it's dependent on the person and what they need and in the moment what that looks like. So presenting can look like sip and samples. That's a good example, or whatever you want to call them, where you're inviting people into your home to talk about Isagenix, to try the products. It's a very traditional Isagenix event. It can be you're meeting them for coffee. Maybe it's something one-on-one. Maybe they have some really intimate physical goals or intimate financial goals, to be quite honest. And they're not going to talk about the $50,000 in credit card debt that they have in a larger setting, but they might disclose that to you in a coffee date, right? It's all the tools that Isagenix has to offer. The Next Entrepreneur, an amazing new tool. The My Ideal Life calls that happen on Wednesdays. You guys don't know, go to ISA FYI under calls is where they list out all the calls for the week and also where you can get all the recordings. If you never watched the Susan Sly, Kathy Coover, My Ideal Life, I encourage you to go and look at that and think about who you can send that tool to, okay? So lots of tools and resources. If you're brand new in Isagenix and you're like, I don't even know what I would say to people, use a tool. That's why they're there. That's how this business becomes duplicatable. Use the tools that exist there. But presenting is part of it. Why? Because we have added people to our network. We've invited them to take a look. And now we're presenting to them because we've invited them to take a look and they've agreed to it. So now it's time to share with them Isagenix. And here's the thing. There are scripts that are out there, and I think scripts are a great and helpful way to get you comfortable for how you can talk about Isagenix. Scripts were not meant for you to read from. So I want you to consider when you're looking at those scripts, how can I make these scripts sound like me? When I am presenting, unless I'm in a business setting, like for example, I'm going to meet with a small business owner, my posturing is a little bit different on how I'm talking about the business. In general, if I'm just meeting another mom or colleague, I'm talking to her like she is my best friend and I'm about to change her life with the most amazing nutrition. That is how I talk to her because that is what I believe and that is where my heart is. And so when I start to talk to her, will words that are on that script come out of my mouth? Yes, but they come out in a way that is pure and they're my own. So I want you to use the scripts as a guide to help you formulate how to talk about it, but really it needs to be in your own essence because no one wants to feel like you become like a robot and you've like joined the cult, you've like drank the juice and like now you're like reading and talking and sounding like the corporate person, right? Like no one likes that. They won't want to buy from you. They'll be like, seriously, I feel like I need to save you from whatever you got involved in. You got to make it your own. But be bold in presenting to people because be confident. And I always hear Lauren Hagedorn say, like she was at one of the first ICUs I ever went to, which is actually where I met Meredith. And she said, like, at the end of a presentation, she says, we take Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. That's a call to action. Go into it. And if you were on the call that Whitney Lambert did for us on a Monday, you can find the recording. And she says too, like her posturing is they're going to say yes. It's not like, okay, well, let me know if you have any questions. No, it's like, what else do you need to know to get started today? We take Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. That's a call to action. People want to be guided. So consider that when you're presenting. And I say that because sometimes the difference between somebody seeing a lot of success in their Isagenix business and where they're maybe at right now is that small of a pivot. It is that small of a pivot from going, do you have any questions, to what can I answer for you that will help you get started today? We take Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. That could be the only pivot you need. So think about how you're presenting to people and how you can make the pivot to show up like the boss that you are, that we have something that helps people. Be proud of that. Be confident in that. And that needs to show in the way you present. Okay, so that was number 3. So number 1, add 2 to 3 prospects to your list every single day. Number 2, reach out to people. They got to know that the door is open. Number 3, present, show them what Isagenix is. And number 4 is follow up. So I have to tell you guys that a woman by the name of Jen Beyer, who many of you may know, is the person that enrolled me into Isagenix. Her husband was, follow me here, my brother-in-law's one of his friends, okay? I didn't have a relationship really with Jen, okay? I knew her through other people. I knew her through like the stuff for my sister getting married, but I didn't really like know her. She had done a social media post and she just looked good. She was like vibrant and healthy and she was talking about how great she felt. And at that time I was pregnant and I had been barfing for 9 months, you guys. I felt awful. Like I was just in a miserable physical spot. That pregnancy like sucked the life out of me. And I was just like, I want whatever you have. Like I'll just look whatever, you know? But here's the thing. From that first post that she did where I asked for some information, which by the way, she sent me a like 90-minute webinar, which I never watched. So it's very funny if you like go back. We all did the, you know, vomiting, whatever. But if I look back, I did. I went all the way back to the back of the beginning of the thread. She sent me like a 90-minute webinar, which of course I didn't watch. She followed up with me 4 times. I didn't respond. And I'm like a decent human being, you guys. Like I'm pretty lovable and I like love people. She followed up with me 4 times and I did not respond. So if you have built a story in your head about like people are not responding to me because they like think I'm like gross, like salesperson and like all the things that I know are going through your head because I get it too. I always go back to that. I'm a nice, good, kind human being. I want everyone to feel success. I didn't respond to her 4 times. Okay. So you can follow up with people. And you can do that in a variety of different ways. If people go crickets on you several times, then sometimes maybe it's like you got to follow up about something else, like about their vacation or their kids, if they have kids, or their job, or like find another reason to follow up with them that isn't Isogenics related. But Jen, she like would like follow, like check in, like, you know, how's it going? I didn't respond. Like I didn't know her, you guys. Like I just like, whatever, this is weird. Anyway, but you know what the one was that I did respond to? The 4th one. Julie, I don't know if the timing might be right for you, but we're running free shipping this weekend. You guys, this is not rocket science. Of course, now that I'm in the business, I was like, well, I fell for like the freaking like marketing scheme of the year, you know, not scheme, but you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's all. Like, I mean, the timing was right though. You want to know why it was right? I had just gotten our tax refund. Our tax refund had hit our bank account the week before. She happened to message me that there was free shipping. And if I love anything, I love a good deal. And I thought I was getting a good deal by getting free shipping, and the timing was right. But you know what? If she had just posted on her social media page, free shipping on my thing, I wouldn't be here. And the like 10,000 plus people in my downline probably wouldn't be here either. So consider follow-up is number 4 on my list of income producing activities and the importance of that. You can't just post in your like product page on your wall and think and assume that people are going to see that and they think that's meant for them. Okay. Follow-up is so important. Yes. Meredith, Susan Sly, like 21 times. It was like 20 plus times that she had to be followed up with. Do you think that they're like sad that they like made that 21st follow-up? They could have been in their head that like, I mean, Susan Sly, she's like a boss babe, man. She's like, she had it going on. She ran all these businesses. She built $1 million businesses in her 20s. You could get the dialogue in your head that like, she thinks I'm annoying her, like she's not interested. You could do that, or you could just get it out of your head and decide people deserve what we have and that they will join us when the timing is right. And we know that they're going to think of us first because we're following up. And if you don't follow up, someone else will come into their universe and enroll them. Okay, so just know that will happen. Number 5, I'm at 5, is enroll. So enrolling is like the cat's pajamas, right? We're all like, woo, woo, enroll. That's where we want to get, right? We want to get people to the point where they get the products in their body because the products are life-changing. So number 5 is enroll. That is a step in income producing activities because that one takes time, right? Usually it's maybe a call or it's getting their information. It's getting them set up with the right things. I also want to remind you that part of what I consider to be enrolling is having that welcome call when somebody gets started, unpacking their box with them. What is their first, 10, 12 days going to look like in Isogenics, identifying on a calendar, like when are you going to cleanse? Like maybe we can do it together, or I want to know when it is so I can be checking in with you. How you set them up for success, I believe, is an income producing activity that a lot of people miss in the enrollment phase. You think like you get them started, their brown box is on their way, that, then you get your PIB and you're like, yeah, that was awesome. Let me know how it goes. Your work starts when they enroll. And you need to remind yourself that it is income producing to ensure that your product users have the most epic, amazing experience that you can give them. And Betsy Frame talked about that in our call last week, which I know, again, is on the YouTube channel. So you can go to that and hear how she product coaches people those first few weeks. And that's really, really crucial. So I just want to mention that because I think that is important and an important income producing activity, because if they have success that first month and they reorder, that was income producing because you've just banked BV that is going to help you cycle. That is income producing. All right. The last one I had was team building. Okay. So team building, like I said, can be income producing and it can be like you can get over into the weeds, right? So let's talk about the things that are income producing when we talk about team building. Number 1 is 3-way calls. So if you have somebody on your team and they want to do a 3-way call, or you enroll somebody and you're maybe going to set up a 3-way call with Meredith and you and your new person, that's income producing. Okay. Three-way calls, super, super underutilized. I just say that on every call because I'm like, oh, if I could just, I mean, like I said, started building my business in 2013. That'll be 6 years this May. I still use three-way calls. I mean, I could talk to people like forwards and backwards about the products and the business and the comp plan. I still use three-way calls. I had a call with Amanda Svensson on Friday. She's an Isogenics millionaire. She still uses three-way calls because they work and that outside validation works. Three-way calls. That's number one for team building. Number two is like duplicating what you've done, right? So that's when we're talking about, Betsy talked last week about building consultants. We talk about duplication in our business, which is like, we have this chance to pay it forward. And when I talk about team building, like how can I pay it forward that I can teach other people to do exactly as I have done? Now we have this amazing tool on isogenicsbusiness.com where you can click start here and it like walks them through that. That's a great path to send people on. But they need you. They need you in the beginning. And that two-step system that I know was developed by Anna Richards, and I think it's on Isogenics Business right now, it's all about how can I help people get their first 10 enrollments. So I want you to consider, like if you start somebody in Isogenics, you've hit number 5, you enrolled them, you've helped them have an epic product experience. Your next job is how can you help them get their first 10 people? I'm not saying 10 consultants, I'm saying help them find their first 10 people. Because here's the thing, you can be a proud product sharer, so there's somebody not even declaring themselves in the business and be able to enroll 10 people. So there are going to be people that for whatever reason, they're not interested in doing the business of Isogenics, but they are willing to do a Facebook post. They're willing to allow you to tag them in a Facebook post. They're willing to maybe host a sip and sample if you make it fun enough for them. You know what I mean? They're willing to share things with 10 people because they're used to sharing everything that they love and they can find 10 people and your job is to help them find those 10. So using the two-step system and helping others do the same that you have done is income producing because those are people that come into your team and you never know if one of them is going to be the business builder that's going to join your business. So team building is number 6 on my list of income producing activities. Now, some things that are also really important to say that should be on your daily habits list is, number 1, you should always be a product of the product. And that to me does not mean how you look on the outside. That means, are you consuming Isogenics on the daily? I don't care if you have a 6-pack or not. It's like, are you consuming the products? When I say be a product of the product, that's what I mean. Number 2, are you plugging people into a product-driven Facebook page when they are either interested in enrolling in Isogenics or they're already in Isogenics? If you are, one of your daily habits needs to be, you need to be contributing to that page, okay? And this, I will say, like from the leader who runs a product page, number 1, like us leaders, we're trying to stick to the 80-22, right? So we don't want to spend 17 hours in a product page being the only one commenting. But it's not about me, it's about you. And here is why you need to be contributing in the product page. Because the way the Facebook algorithm is set up, if I do posts in, Love Isogenics product page, it's not going to show in the newsfeed of your friends that you've added to that page. You hear what I'm saying? So you posting in the product page has the opportunity then to show up in your friends' news feeds that you've added to the page so they can be reminded that they're in there, so that they can be reminded that you're doing the thing, so that they can be reminded they want to do the thing. So even though as a leader I'm saying, like, lighten the load, I'm also saying this is actually really about you and about your business. And that's why leaders like me and Meredith and others are saying, you got to be in the product page. You got to spend some time commenting. You got to spend some time doing a post every single day. I don't care if it's a recipe or a selfie or I love this or a picture of your dinner or whatever that looks like. Do something so that your people that are in that page are like, yes, Cassandra, yes, she's in there. I forgot I wanted to do the thing. And now her thing is popping up and now I'm reminded I want to do the thing, right? If I'm doing all the posting, if Meredith's doing all the posting, your people aren't seeing it. End of story. That's why you have to do it. Now, I say that because this is where the rabbit hole starts to happen. So you got to time block your time on social media. These things are really important, but you also have to be so mindful that they do not rule your day. So you know what? Use a 15-minute block and decide one of your 15-minute blocks is going to be going into the product page, doing your post for the day, and spending a little bit of time liking and commenting. You know what I do is I do my post, but then you also, like, I have my time in my schedule, you guys, where I'm just like scrolling social media because that is good for my brain. And that just like, I don't know, I need that like kind of downtime of just scrolling. But that is not in a time frame where I'm committed to be doing my isogenics business. That is outside of if you've committed 10 hours, that is outside of your 10 hours that you're deciding to do that. And so, sometimes more liking and commenting happens then. You can do this business being really structured with your time, but you have to be really structured with your time. So product groups, really, really important, like specifically for enrollments. And I think people miss it and they think us leaders are just like harping on them to like get in there. And this is really about you and about your people that are in there and about you reminding them that I'm in here, I'm a part of this, I'm excited about this, I'm still around, I'm still committed, I'm still looking for people. This is about you and how you can serve those people. Yes, Meredith says you can pre-schedule your posts. Yeah, so you can get some level of admin rights in your group. I think there's even moderator rights that'll allow you to schedule in those groups. I don't know if there's do you use another scheduling tool, Meredith, or you just use the Facebook one? Yeah, just the Facebook one is easy to use. Like we're doing a whole Share the Love campaign right now in our product groups and for the month of February, and everybody can have the chance to go in and just schedule the posts so that content is flowing through there. Staying plugged into your business Facebook page is also important, mostly so you can stay on top of what's happening with the team and be supporting your team. Again, you have to be sure that you're not using up your 80% of your income producing activity time for that and confusing yourself from being busy to being income producing. Okay, it's a really fine line and it can be easy to get confused. It's important to stay plugged in. It's important to support our teammates, all those things, because you want to receive that, but you can't allow that to control your schedule. And then again, you find yourself, it's 11 o'clock at night and you haven't done anything income producing for the day. So that is what I have for you guys. My number one takeaway is if you have not planned your week out yet for the week, so you have not thought about how much time you're committing to your isogenics business, and you have not planned out your income producing activities, right when you get off this call, you're going to time block 15 minutes and you're going to look at the week ahead and you're going to look at all the other obligations that you have in your schedule, because we all have them, and you're going to find 15-minute blocks and what you're going to do in those 15-minute blocks. I assure you that if you get that organized with your habits, you will see major change and shifts start to happen in your business. It doesn't happen overnight. We always say, like, you'll get paid on this quarter's work next quarter. So be patient with your business, allow it time to mature and grow, but to know that is the magic is in the habits. And if you are somebody that's coming in and you want to run fast, your numbers for income producing activities just get bigger. The activity is exactly the same, right? So I'm saying adding 2 to 3 prospects to your list every day. That's baseline. That's what I'm saying I think everybody should be doing. But if you're running hard and fast for a certain goal, your numbers just get bigger. You're adding more people to your list. You're reaching out to more people. You're following up with more people. Your numbers are only bigger. This is a really scalable business based on the amount of time that you have to invest. It can be done. It can be done. I speak from the woman who got the fire in her belly from a Harley-Davidson dealership in Madison, Wisconsin, who was working full-time with 2 little babies at home and a mortgage and credit card debt and all the things that I just decided I was going to go for, and I was going to carve out the intentional time that I knew it was going to take, and you can too. So you guys, that's what I have for you today. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Hopefully you all found this useful, and I hope that it blesses you. Next week, Monday, the beautiful Heidi Fish is going to join us. She lives in the Minneapolis area. She is a queen on social media, and she's going to talk about intentional use of Instagram. She has built an amazing, literally a 2-hour program or course on Instagram. We're going to get kind of an abbreviated version of it next week, but it's going to bless you on how you can use that one tool in your toolbox to help grow your business. So thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
You too. Bye, guys.